Hi friends, Cat Kerrs, and today I'm going to be sharing 3 different projects using shrink film. I've been obsessed with this lately ever since I realized that you can use a mini pancake maker and the shrink film shrinks down perfectly every time. So I have been obsessed playing with this. Today I'm going to be using the Inkjet shrink film. It comes in both clear and white, and if you're not familiar with this stuff, there's plenty of ways to heat it, but like I said, today I'm going to be using that mini pancake maker, and these are the images that I cut out to shrink. And basically, I put the timer on there just to see how long exactly it takes. It's about an hour, a minute and 20 for it to shrink down. Once it's done shrinking, you pull it out. I just kind of pressed it flat a little bit, but this works perfectly. I love using this thing. Now at the time, I actually punched some holes in the shrink film because my intention was to make little mini books, but I just really love this clear inkjet shrink film. I love the way it looks and I wanted to create something else with it. So my first project is actually going to be some metal pendants, and here I am just trying to figure out how I want to incorporate the shrink film, and I did not want to cover up the back. I love that translucent element about it, and so I wanted to make sure that I kept that. So I'm just going to just punch some holes in the metal. I'm going to end up adding some patina to the metal just to grungy it up a bit, and I'm going to adhere all of the elements together by using some UV resin. So I have one piece of frame on the bottom, then I have the shrink film in the center, and then I have another piece of that metal frame on top, and each layer is stuck together with that UV resin. Now here I'm adding an additional layer of resin just to give it a nice domed look, and I'm also adding these little tiny metal gears just for some additional dimension. I'm just thrilled with the way that these came out, and when you hold them up to the light, it just reminds me of one of those peekaboo viewers that we used to have when we were kids, and I just love the way it came out. Now for my second project, I'm going to make those little tiny mini books, and I apologize for being at the bottom of the frame. I didn't realize that I wasn't in the center of the frame there, but I just sanded the edges to round them off a little bit, and then I added some of that UV resin to the top, and I'm also taking some pieces of Grafix Chipboard, painting it black. It does come in black, but I'm all out of it, and so I was just using some acrylic paint, and I'm also painting the back of the shrink film. Now before I assemble my little mini books, here I'm adding some splatters of gold acrylic ink, and then I'm going to take a strip of an accordion paper. I used a mixed media paper so that I can fill up these little journals whenever I want, using any kind of medium. And so I just made an accordion type of insert, and I'm adding double tack dry adhesive film to both the front and the back, and then I'm going to attach each end to the front and back cover of the book. Now here I'm adding some gold acrylic ink to the edges of the papers, and I also add a little tiny strip of binding tape to the binding portion of the book, and these little beauties are done. Okay, so now it's time to work on that final project, and I'm using this old frame that I found in my stash, but it didn't even have a piece of glass. So I took a piece of clear craft plastic, cut it down to fit the frame, and then I also applied these Holtz Rub Ons. Now here I'm just figuring out what background to place behind my clear craft plastic, and that's the element I'm going to be using. And as far as the frame, like I said, it was pretty dirty. It didn't have a frame, so I wanted to grungy it up even more. I added some textures using Amsterdam acrylic mediums, as well as some Amsterdam acrylic paint, and here I'm using some of their gold ink just to highlight some of the areas. And now that I'm happy with how grungy it is, I'm going to go ahead and start assembling. Now I adhered a piece of burlap to the inside of the frame as well as my shrink film, but I felt like it needed a little something extra, and so I took another piece of that clear craft plastic, and here I'm just adding some white rub-ons, and they're going to go directly on top of the frame. I adhered that craft plastic to the front of the frame by just using some finishing nails, and I love the way this little piece came out. Well, I hope that you enjoyed these 3 different projects using Inkjet shrink film. I'm obsessed with this stuff. For more ideas, check out grafixarts.com. Thanks for watching.